Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast. And I want to thank you guys so much for all support on my last video. And yesterday, holy cow, 16,000 views on my last video, and we gained over 200 subscribers yesterday in total. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. Wish there was a second Thanksgiving so I can say I am thankful for all of you new supporters and every single one of my old supporters as well. It really means a lot. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the same exact thing, except we have some pretty big updates on snowfall totals and location for this big potential blizzard coming up in the next few days here. So it is continuing to get closer and closer until this monster rain system becomes a monster blizzard, impacting millions up in the Great Lakes and even up in the Tennessee Valley. But before we get the video, please subscribe if you're new, hit the like button and the post notification icon. But without further ado, let's get in this weather forecast. So here's looking out at November 30th, 66 hours from now. So this is kind of the earlier morning hours on the 30th, which is a Monday. And as you do see here, we have all that precipitation coming from the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be very humid, except these areas are going to bring in really cold temperatures as this rain comes in. This is going to have that cold front that's coming in from the west, which will meet up with the moisture and that low pressure, which means we could definitely have snow converting into these areas, and that's going to bring a big mess for areas like in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northeast, and even portions of the southern Appalachians. But it's going to be really starting off as really heavy rain depending where you are. Definitely going to be very heavy for areas near the Mississippi River and Ohio River. But it's going to gradually get heavier as we go kind of more into Monday here, into moving into areas into the Carolinas. So if you guys are going to get really heavy rain in the southeast, you really probably will just stay with that rain sadly and not really snow, as this cold front is going to continue to push in the snow to actually start a lot more to the north here. Actually, this is the new 6Z on GFS. So it's going to be a big soaker for millions up in the East Coast there. It's going to be really cold and chilly rain. So we could actually see some widespread ice threats, maybe black ice, all the way from the southeast up into areas where the snow is at its worst. But you do see, I mean, look at this. This snow is going to be basically all on the western side of that low pressure, as the western side of this low pressure is where that cold front is in place there. We are going to see some rather strong wind with this system, but winds are expected to be a bit less crazy than what they showed you yesterday. But we're going to bring some snow for areas in like Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and all the way up into the Georgia area. And it's going to continue to bring in more towards Ohio, not really Indiana. The thing is, this big update is that Indiana is going to see a lot less snow than they expected. Only around 6 to 12 hours of basically light snow, really not that heavy snow for hours and hours and hours like they were showing yesterday. But again, winds will actually start to really pick up by Tuesday. You get some really strong winds there for areas in the Kentucky area, Tennessee, North Carolina, even Georgia area, where you can see a lot of flurries moving there and maybe some light accumulation there. But winds will also be really picking up there. Just to the west of that low pressure, we are seeing some really strong winds wrapping around this low pressure, and that's going to bring those really strong winds up into Lake Erie. And that can very well bring in some really harsh lake effect snow and effects there for areas like Cleveland. And of course, we're going to be seeing those winds really picking up now for Detroit by the 1st of December. And that's going to help push that snow there up into Pittsburgh, Charleston, West Virginia, Erie, Pennsylvania, even up into New York there. And then Niagara Falls can get some definitely some nice impacts. But look, these winds will continue to really strengthen here. You can tell how much they're strengthening by looking at how close those isobars are, and the closer they are, indicating the stronger the winds there. So we're going to be seeing some really harsh impacts. It may be light snow, but strong winds like 40 miles an hour, that can help make that light snow look completely different than what it actually is. So Cleveland, Erie, Buffalo, you guys can get some decent impacts there. Especially Cleveland can get a big impact, but it's now heading towards Ohio to be the bullseye instead of Indiana, which that's a pretty big shift there. That's a big a few mile difference. So that's going to really be impacting a lot of people there. Whether it's we're going to bring in a lot more snow or a lot less. So some of you guys are going to have to prepare more, or some of you guys are going to have to unprepare more than expected here. But let's go check take a look at the European model. And like what I've been saying for the past few days, I'm kind of leaning towards the European. I'm kind of really agreeing a lot more with the European model. And as you can tell, about the 30th of November, this is where they have all that precipitation there in the southeast, especially up near the Alabama and Mississippi area. We do have that low pressure in place right there. You can definitely tell. I know it's really hard to see there, basically how big my screen is, but we are seeing some really strong winds there for areas in the southeast in that circle there. You can tell how close the ice balls are. So we are going to be seeing some strong winds all throughout this storm here. And as we now get into the 30th, continue to push towards the 30th. This low pressure will push more northward, and that's exactly where that cold front is, way to the north there. So it's going to really bring in those that really cold rain, and as it pushes forward into those 20s and teens in the temperatures, it's going to definitely convert into snow and into ice here. So we are going to be seeing some big threats such as the ice as well. And even if you're not necessarily getting the ice itself or the snow itself, like Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, you guys are going to be seeing some really cold temperatures. So that rain could very well freeze into black ice. So there is a chance there could still be some really dangerous threats there up into the southeast that is below the snow line. But this snow rain will meet kind of towards Indiana and up into central Michigan. So expect that conversion there. And then there you see as the storm continues to move eastward, we are going to be seeing some rather strong winds from the system. Exactly what could very well be a blizzard, because look how close these isoballs are. I mean, they're extremely close. That's well over 40 miles an hour there. But look at the European. The European is also leaning towards more of an Ohio bullseye and not Indiana. Indiana is getting a bit more snow, or actually a lot more snow compared to GFS. It also has Kentucky, but really both models have kind of shifted toward now Ohio bullseye there, but bringing snow all the way down to northern Georgia. Going to be very light, just flurries. The worst of it will be towards Ohio there, but look at these really strong winds there up into Quebec and Ontario, and this will be moving forward now into, once it gets into Pennsylvania, that's where we'll be seeing those really strong winds. And there you do see it, those really strong winds pushing into Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, Ohio, even areas into West Virginia. So we will be seeing some potential whiteout conditions there, all because of of those winds there. And there will be remaining lake effect snow after the storm, so we will be seeing additional accumulation there off Lake Huron and Erie because of those remnants of lake effect snow there. Let's check out the snowfall totals now for the European model. And you do see they actually have changed quite significantly, but let's now zoom in here. Let's check out Indiana and Illinois first here. So you do see there, this is probably one of the biggest changes here. Kentucky and Indiana are probably one of the biggest changes here, as areas where they were showing up to 18 inches yesterday, only around 4 to 9 inches now, which that's still a good amount of accumulation compared to the time frame we're at. I mean, we're literally the 1st of December. That's still a good amount of snow for these areas, but really a huge change. I mean, Indiana, you guys are now only going to be getting around possibly 4 to 7 inches of snowfall. Big decrease there compared to yesterday. Areas now near Cincinnati, only 3 to 4 inches expected here. I mean, that's a really big change from compared to yesterday. You guys are looking at 16 inches possibly, and now that's gone down. I mean, just an absolute decline. Only 3 to 4 inches now, but obviously this could still increase, but really it's looking like models are starting to now continuing to agree here. Akron, you guys are only going to be getting around 4 to, or anywhere from 2 to 5 inches there. Toledo, anywhere from 4 to 6 inches. That's a pretty big decrease there, especially Detroit. Oh my gosh, you guys have a massive decrease. You guys went from 12 inches up to now 4 to 5 inches. Areas as well near South Bend and Gary, only around 1 to 2 inches. Chicago, probably see a trace, if that. Lexington, only 1 to 3 inches. I mean, huge decrease here. I mean, absolutely just crazy here. The big change here. Let's gonna take a look at Ohio itself. Let's take a look at Ohio. And Ohio is definitely going to be the bullseye still, and it's actually kind of leaning towards now where the coast is of the lakes here. So Lake Erie could very well be the bullseye of that snow here. And kind of be, the worst of the snow will actually be right where the strongest winds will be. So that's exactly where we can see blizzard conditions. Definitely, if you're in this area, we will definitely be seeing potentially blizzard conditions there because of the strong winds here. So we are definitely still going to be seeing blizzard conditions without even with the big decrease in snow there. But look at this. Cleveland can see possibly 12 to 16 inches of snowfall. Again, there it is, 4 to 6 inches for Detroit. That's still a good amount of snow there, obviously. Toronto can very well see a good amount of snow, anywhere from 8 to 10 inches. Erie, Pennsylvania, 14, possibly 14, anywhere from 18 inches as well. Buffalo, definitely, we're going to be looking at that later on, but snowfall totals are increasing a lot for Pennsylvania now. But look at West Virginia now, 7 to around 10 inches there, up in the mountains there, including Maryland and southern Pennsylvania. I mean, Columbus, wow. I mean, Columbus only possibly 3 inches of snow now. I mean, that's also a massive, massive decrease. I mean, yesterday, Columbus, Ohio was seeing a huge increase in potential snow. Now only 3 to potentially 6 inches of snow for Columbus. That's also a very big change here. So a lot of changes here, whether it's impacting more snow or less snow here. But let's check a look here if we can actually find. Let's just go to New England here. But I mean, look at these snowfall totals now for Buffalo, up to around 5 to 8 inches of snowfall. Up in the Syracuse area, we can see 2 to 4 inches. In the upper Adirondacks, anywhere from half a foot. I mean, look at this, really a huge increase now for Pennsylvania now. Going to get up to 5 to 7 inches far inland there off Lake Erie. Up to around 1 inch for State College. Could see a trace for areas near Scranton. Probably didn't expect that. And up to 1 to 3 inches up there in the higher elevations in the Burlington area and or Mount Washington up in upper New Hampshire. But it's going to be a very big snow event. Whether you have decrease in snowfall or whether you have increase, it's still going to be a very big, impactful snowstorm. Let's check out the GFS here. So let's obviously zoom in as well. Let's zoom in here for Indiana, Illinois as well. So as you do see this also, let's actually see. Oh, actually GFS is actually fully reloading still. Well, this is GFS. It's still fully reloading here. So yeah, this is actually still reloading as we speak right now, but what they have as of now is around only 1 to 3 inches there for Indianapolis. GFS, like I did say, was definitely bringing a lot less snow here. I mean, absolutely a lot less snow. But let's check out the latest 6Z here so we can actually take a look at actually how much snow they're looking at. I mean, look at the GFS compared to the European. I mean, European already took a massive downshift for Indiana, but look at the GFS. Basically, it went from feet of snow to basically nothing whatsoever. Indianapolis, basically a trace to an inch in areas where they had the Ohio and Indiana border up to 16 inches yesterday. 1 to 3 inches, basically. I mean, that's a massive, massive shift here. Let's look at Cincinnati, a trace. It went from basically a foot and a half to a trace. So this is how things can really change here. 3 to 4 inches in southeastern Kentucky here. But snow totals are actually somewhat increasing for some areas now as well. Now that's going to be more towards the Great Lakes there. Snowfall totals are actually somewhat definitely starting to increase here. Let's take a look now at the snowfall totals. I mean, look at it. They're definitely actually increasing for areas now off Lake Erie. So Lake Erie is becoming the big bullseye now, up to around potentially 4 to 7 inches there for Detroit. So still a good amount of snowfall, but areas near Toledo, 10 to 12 inches of snow there as well. Columbus, 3 to 5 inches, still a big decrease there. But I mean, look at areas like Erie, Pennsylvania, going to be seeing a ton of snow there. So look at this. This is a look now into Pennsylvania, and look at this. Near Erie, Pennsylvania, up to 19 to possibly 21 inches of snow there. But right here in this little area, right here, there's 27 inches of snow there. 27.2 inches of snow there. That is absolutely crazy. Pittsburgh looking at anywhere from 4 to 7.5 inches of snow there. Up in the Appalachians and western West Virginia or eastern West Virginia, anywhere from half a foot there as well. Look at this. The snow's going to continue to push up into New York as well. Look at this. Into the far northeastern Ohio area and Lake Erie, 20 inches of snow. This is just absolutely crazy updates here. Let's take a look now at the cold front and how this is possible. How big of a system can very well happen this early? Well, it's going to be because of this massive cold front. It doesn't look too significant on the 30th, but look as it goes on the 1st. There's massive change there. Look at that. On the 1st, it's going to bring in thousands of square miles of well below average temperatures there, all the way in central Florida, up to around 17 degrees below average, and all the way up into Iowa, up to 10 degrees below average. And these averages in these areas are already cold enough, especially right here. These averages are already cold enough, so they don't really need too big of a difference below average to actually see those big storms. But they're seeing still up to 13 to 15 degrees below average. Up in West Virginia, 18 degrees below average. Areas in Florida, 20 degrees below average. My area, 15 degrees below average. There's going to be some really cold temperatures. It's going to be a pretty long-lasting cold front here as we look all the way into Wednesday. Still bringing it up to 13 to 10 degrees below average for the southeastern coast. Still bringing it below average temperatures all the way up into the northeast now. And then it continues to bring this well below average temperatures up to 11 degrees below average there in Georgia, 13 for North Carolina, and 15 to 21 degrees below average still in Ohio by Thursday, December 3rd. And there's a potential another cold front that could push in these areas by the 6th here. But will be a slight warm up here by Friday and Saturday of next week here. But let's take a look at those real-time temperatures. This is now going into the 30th. This is going into Monday, the 30th. And look at these temperatures we're looking at. 13 degrees for Minnesota there, up to 26 for Madison, Wisconsin, 34 for Indianapolis, 33 for Detroit, getting up into the mid-30s now into the southeast here. And as we now go into the wake-up temperatures that we're waking up to on the 1st of December here, we're seeing some mid-20s of northern Georgia, some very low 20s there in North Carolina there, 24 for Indianapolis, 29 for much of Ohio, seeing those 20s and 30s up into Pennsylvania, up into the three twin states there. We're seeing up to the teens to the upper 20s. Look at these temperatures. We're seeing 20s in literally Arkansas. We're seeing some 30s in northern Florida on December 1st. That's something you don't hear much. So these temperatures will help withstand this rain to go from snow very quickly here. So these temperatures are exactly the reason why we're going to be seeing such a big storm, because it's a perfect pattern here. We have all the moisture coming in from the southeast, meeting in with these very cold temperatures, and it's a matter of time you see a snowstorm developing from that. And then by the second, temperatures are getting even colder. Some teens for Indiana and Ohio. We're seeing 26 for Nashville. We're seeing around 27 for my area. Still those very low 20s and up to some teens for western North Carolina, the higher elevations. 17 for West Virginia, 24 for Roanoke, 29 for Raleigh. Seeing 18 near Akron, 13 as well into southeastern Indiana. It's going to be really cold temperature. 25 near Cleveland. It's going to help bring in those really fast accumulations there off Cleveland. And then by the 3rd of December, we're seeing even colder temperatures now, up to around anywhere up to 17 near Erie, Pennsylvania. Cleveland, 19 degrees. Up into near Akron, 15 degrees. Absolutely crazy temperature. It's going to be seeing some 30s up into New York City as well. It's going to be just absolutely crazy temperatures up to the 4th. We're even still seeing those 20s off Lake Erie. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.